Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the SU-14-2, the Tier 8 Soviet SPG, otherwise known as a school bus, for obvious reasons. It's located on the northeast corner of Karelia, and this one's under the command of Oxagon.
Let's go.
Game on. 3 marks on the barrel. Yes, he's a very experienced player with most of the Artys, in fact all of the Artys he plays, because he loves playing Arty a lot. And, well, for the start of this one, he's going to head off into the cap area. Now, normally, climbing up this hill is very, very slow indeed. In fact, this Arty is generally slow because it's only got a maximum speed of 30 kilometers an hour. It's actually based on the T-35 tank, which is a heavy tank, devised by the Soviets but never actually used until the Second World War, the Patriotic War, where in actual fact most of the T-35s were either captured by the Germans or they were destroyed. Rounds out. Now he's mounting the 203mm howitzer, which is capable of doing 900 alpha, penetrating 52mm of armor, and with a burst radius of 10.4 meters. Okay, we saw a target which was an Object Treble 7 version 2. We're in a tier 9 game with tier 8 tanks in it. Next target is a Chrysler GF. Got some splash off that one for sure. 320. And he's backing up to change position, avoid counter battery. Now the school bus does have an interesting history actually, because originally it was devised based on the T-35 tank, but they only built a couple of SU-14-1s, or originally SU-14s straight off, and then they modified them. The original Arty had a 152mm howitzer, and later on that was altered. They actually added the casement, which is a shield for the crew, and a radio station as well, so that the thing could contact other units, and eventually it became the SU-14-2. The SU-14-1 is in the game as the tier 7 Soviet SPG in the collector's table now. But the SU-14-2 is quite an unusual Arty because it's actually a bit of a handful, you might say. It's very, very slow, very, very big, and very easy to kill, which makes it a bit of a liability. Well, another shot on the Chrysler, this time for 454. Again, non-penetrating shot, but it does a huge amount of damage. And we've noticed that Object Treble 7 version 2 coming towards our cap area. Now, most of our team, well, half of our team I should say, have actually stopped around the cap area, blocking any enemy tanks from moving forward. Another part of our team has actually gone down the southwest corner. That was a direct hit. They've gone down the southwest channel and past the horseshoe, and they're actually getting fairly close to the enemy cap. That's unfortunate. We just lost the CS-53, who was our only spotter other than the ELC-790, who's actually hiding at the moment in the bushes just north of the swamp. In fact, the ELC-790 is Soul Collector, and he is actually in platoon with Oxagon. Another direct hit, this time on the Jagdtiger. I think that was a Winnie the Pooh reference there. Jagdtiger, I should say, but I called him Jagdtiger. That Chrysler is about to go if he puts one round on top of that guy, but to get more hit points, he's going to go after the SU-14-2, who's moving backwards and forwards on that road near the horseshoe. Changes his mind about that because that guy he can't see. And he can see this T-44-100, but he's actually moving to position, just pop forward, take a shot, rounds out, and splash for 118. If that guy kept going straight, he would have taken a direct hit. Okay, that SU-4 has popped out straight away. I think the reason he had to move was because there's a tortoise nearby. And I'm pretty sure the T-44-100 was actually shooting at our tanks who went down that southwest passage, but unfortunately they've all been wiped out now. The only one remaining is the tortoise up on the horseshoe. And the question is how long he'll remain alive. That was a blind shot. We're one tank down on the enemy at the moment, but I think the advantage is with the enemy because they have basically 2/3 of the map, and it's only the tortoise that's remained on the southwest route, and he's been spotted now by the enemy. So we're actually trying to help him here by hitting the Striv 1030, hiding behind the bush at the far end. Rounds out, long flight time, direct hit. Oh, it was a kill. He set light to him. The Striv 1030 went up in smoke because he burnt to death, and he got him. So that's his first kill in the game. I should also mention Transy was in this game. He was in the Shrek, or Flat Pack TVP as some people have called it, but he got wiped out earlier in the game. Soul Collector's still alive. In fact, he's got 2 kills, but he's now in the swamp, and he doesn't look as if he's going to live very long if he stays where he is, because he's very close to one of the enemy tanks, and that's what Oxagon's looking at now. He's looking at that list, but now he's trying to help this tortoise, the T-44-100. The good news is the tortoise managed to see off that T-44-100. We're having a quick look to see if we can find those enemy tanks that are unspotted at the moment. And he's gone back to the Chrysler GF, because that guy was a one-shot. Rounds out. It lands short. Okay, the Yag Tiger's coming to sight. Soul Collector saw that one. Now we're going to attack that target. One shot should be able to take him out if we get a high roll. Our 257's moving close. With two tanks up on the enemy now, so they have suddenly gone defensive. I think that's mainly because they're spread out. Oh, that was a direct hit on the Yag Tiger, but it didn't kill him. It's badly wounded him, though. He's down to a one shot. And there he goes. In fact, it's the tortoise who got the kill. So now we've just got to get rid of this CS52 list, the fox, somewhere behind that rock, maybe slightly further north. There he is. He has been spotted now. So he won't live very long. His sixth sense just went off, and he realized he had to move, but it was too late, and Strip 1030 got the kill. So now there are 4 enemies left. At the moment, Oxagon's looking to try and spot that T-103. In fact, he's over on the other side of the map. He's way over, and we can't get a shot on him. We've got a red line. In fact, we did have a red line. We've suddenly got that line back again, so maybe we can shoot. He's moving forward, trying to go for our teammates. And he's suddenly come across the tortoise. Rounds out. It hit the rock face. If it stunned the T-103, then he would have got some stun assist. And we've suddenly found that the Chrysler GF is still alive. The enemy's lost their T-103. The tortoise nailed him. There goes the Chrysler. And that was Soul Collector getting that one. And Soul Collector now has 3 kills. Okay. Oh, not for long though. He's back in the garage now because the UDES finished him off, but that is a kill shot and a penetrating shot at that. A high roll for 1,048 hit points, which now leaves the only remaining enemy, the FV207, their Arty. And he's probably back at the cap area. Okay, everyone's closing in on the cap. Rather sad that Soul Collector went after getting so many kills, but unfortunately that's the problem with that low power, low pressure 90mm gun. It only has 220 alpha, which is not that much. Rounds out. Long flight. And he gets the kill. The last kill goes to Oxagon. Here's the end of battle result. That was an ace tanker game for Oxagon in the SU-14-2, the school bus. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 13. He got an arsonist because he set light to one of the enemy tanks and watched it burn up. That was the SU-14-2. And he also got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. And very well played indeed. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. No, he was beat to that by the Tortoise. The Tortoise got 4,605 hit points of damage. He picked up a high caliber fighter, demolition expert, and a Pfeiffer effect, whilst Oxagon got second place on damage with 4,534 hit points. A very high score indeed. And in third place, we've got the SU-14-2 on his team with 3,035. We can see further down the line that Tramsey, even though he died fairly early on in the game, he got 1,694 hit points. And Soul Collector, even though he got 3 kills, got only 564 hit points of damage, which means that most of his kills were probably kills of opportunity, finishing off enemy tanks that were very badly wounded at the time. But he sneaked out, he was spotting for his team, did a lot of good job spotting actually. You can see here 7,368 hit points of spotting, very well played, but he got wiped out by that UDES in the end because he was spotted and he couldn't get away. Even with that low pressure gun, he couldn't do enough damage to take out the UDES before the UDES could get him. Anyway, let's have a look at number of kills. Well, the Tortoise takes that one as well. 4 kills to him. 3 kills went to the SU-14-2, to Oxagon and to Soul Collector, and also to the T-44-100 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it's Soul Collector who does the best, obviously, with all that spotting. He got 1,230 base XP. Second place was Oxagon, 1,221. And in third place, it was the Tortoise with 1,198. They were the only 3 players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game. Very well played indeed. And nice that 2 of Oxagon's platoon actually managed to get into the top 2. He fired 15 rounds in the game, got 8 direct hits on the enemy and 2 penetrating shots and 10 splash. Now, I'm pretty sure that the penetrating shots were actually those last shots. And actually, no, it was the SU-14-2, the one he set alight. He penetrated that one and set him alight. And he also got the UDES 14-5. I think that was the guy who killed Soul Collector. And he actually was penetrated as well for 1,048 hit points. Now, you only get 16 rounds in the SU-14-2. So using up 15 shots in the game meant he only had 1 round left at the end. But at last, his penultimate round did the business and took out the FV207. He got 8 direct hits on the enemy, 2 penetrations, 10 splash, damage of 4,534 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 3, so then he missed out on the Confederate there. But he did get 28,679 credits for the game, and he also took away 2,107 experience points as well. So a decent ace tanker game for Oxagon. But he sent us in another game in the school bus, so let's have a look at that one straight away. The second replay is on the Sand River map, and we're on the west spawn.
Let's go.
Well, as you can see, Both Soul Collector and Chansey are in this game as well, and they're also in the ENJ0Y clan. All got 3 marks of excellence on their vehicles, which shows they're experienced players. In fact, top-notch players. Okay, he's aiming downrange, ready for the enemy. He's pre-picked a spot a little closer to the enemy cap area. It's on that corner where the tanks come out into the dunes area. And you can see that Soul Collector's already managed to spot his first enemy. It's a Leopard 1. It's a tier 10 game with tier 8 tanks. Rounds out. Oh, yeah, that one. I think he expected the Leopard 1 to keep moving, and he didn't. He stopped, took a look over the dune. So, reload time. Now, the standard reload time for the 203mm howitzer is actually quite long. 42.19 seconds. It's a very long one indeed. And I believe that Oxagon's got a reload closer to about 32 seconds. We'll see now. 32, yes. Rounds out. And he does get some splash on the Leopard, who moves back because he knows the shell's coming. Now, Oxagon hasn't moved very far after that shot, which could put him at risk if the enemy was doing counter battery. But I think he's more at risk of an enemy tank getting close to him, because there's a Charfu Tier 4 in the north end of the map getting very close. In fact, he's not the only one. There's a Black Dog there, and the Black Dog is a light tank with very long view range. So he might get spotted because he's high on the dune at the moment. If that Black Dog sees him, he's in trouble. Okay, well, he fires a round in, and it did get close, but it didn't get close enough, and he's going to have to move now, because if he doesn't, he's going to get spotted. In fact, he might get spotted if he was to go up that ramp towards the area north of the cap, or south of the cap, the heights. And in fact, actually, we can see that Tramsy's up there already in the Shrek. Okay, we need to get rid of these guys as quickly as we can, because they're a real problem. Rounds out in the Object 283. Oh! That was cruel. The shell went long, right over the top of the 283, and he didn't even get a chance to hit him. It was fully dialed in. There's no reason why that one shouldn't have hit, but I'm afraid RNG said no, and the shell didn't go anywhere near him. Didn't even do any damage at all. And now the big worry is we've got another enemy tank approaching along the middle. A Super Conqueror. And there's also a T95 FV4201 Chieftain. Well, that was the tracer from an enemy Arty flying through the screen, headed towards our guys north of the cap. In fact, in the cap area. Okay, so we're just waiting for the reload to complete to go after the Super Conk. And there's the Chieftain just down below. Swapping his mind between going for the Super Conqueror or the Chieftain. It's a difficult determination to make which one you go for. Well, he got a direct hit on the Super Conqueror. It would have been a little more problematic because the Chieftain was hiding behind that rock face, and now he's hiding behind the Super Conqueror. And you notice he didn't use his first aid pack to get rid of the stun. Could be that it's already in cooldown. Okay, this should be good. Rounds out. Direct hit. 312. Yeah, and the good news is that he also stunned the Super Conqueror at the same time. And notice that neither of them have actually managed to cure the stun, which means that they're either holding their first aid kit in reserve, or they were in cooldown already, so they couldn't cure it. Chieftain very agilely moving back to the cover of that rock face, but he's now changed his mind altogether. He's retreating away from this area. And another direct hit on the Super Conqueror. I know some tanks think that we're focusing on them because it's kind of personal. It's not that way, actually. We're focusing on a particular tank because we've invested a deal of time in actually dialing in on a particular position. But if we perceive a tank to be a threat, we will focus on it to try and get rid of it, or at least to deter it and force it to go away, whilst we're actively trying to help the team. Rounds out the suit conk again.
That was close.
This time round, he only got 174 of actual damage, but he picked up a massive amount of stun assists, and now he's got the rest of it from stun assist because the guy gone down. T-34 got him in the end, a tier 8 120mm gun against another 120mm gun, because they both got 120mm. It's a very underrated tank, the T-34. It's quite powerful, actually, if you think about it. Plus, of course, it is a premium. Rounds out on the Chieftain, and he gets the direct hit. Only 228 this time. They're a little more difficult to penetrate, mainly down to the fact, of course, it's got the Chieftain turret. Of course, the hull is an American hull. It's a T-95 hull. So, American hull, British turret. Okay, he's lining him up for another shot. This could be a kill shot. Rounds out. Oh! RNG, where were you? Unfortunately, on this occasion, RNG said very much no. You're not getting that one. And the shell landed well short of the target. You can see exactly where it is. It's actually within the arc. So it's within the reticule arc, but unfortunately it was saying, no, you're not going to have that one. And in fact, now the enemies managed to get very close. In fact, we've got a Tiger 2 in the riverbed at this moment, but he's no threat to us. The threat to us is coming from this 283 and this Char Future 4. That's out. Direct hit. 358. Char Futures have very thin armor, so if you focus on him, you will get a lot of damage. But the other one, the 283, well, that's relatively thin armor as well, and he's down to a one-shot. Next round will finish him off. And the good news is that Tramsy and Soul Collector are both still alive in the game. But we're only one tank up on the enemy, and it's still early days. Okay, we're loaded. Going for the IS-22. Rounds out.
That was close.
Well, RNG worked in our favour there because the shell went longer than the aim point, and it landed alongside the IS-22, who'd actually pulled back. But now we've got a real problem because we've been spotted. Yep, we got spotted by the Shrek. So now Oxagon has to move because the enemy Arty will try to counter battery him, and it's a GW Tiger P. Now, he doesn't have the fastest load time, the GW Tiger P, but he might have the stock gun. And in fact, we got spotted by the Object 283, and he's just plonked a round into us for 361. I think that was a 122mm round. And if we don't get into cover quick, he's going to nail us for the next round. Okay, we're lining up a shot. I go for the 283. He's the one who sees us.
We're done for. Everyone get out. That was close.
Didn't do it in time. And unfortunately, the 283 was the one who killed him, yes. I could see his decision making there. He wanted the Char Future 4, mainly because the Char Future 4 was thinner armor. But it was the 283 that got the first shot in. He obviously could still see us. And he should have done a quick snapshot at that 283 to try and put him out of business before he fired his second round. So, sadly, unfortunately, this is going to be a short game for Oxagon. Well, shortish, because they've almost won it. There's only 3 enemy tanks left. The 703-2, the Object 283 that killed Oxagon, and that Char Future 4. And everybody's coming towards the team now. And so it's only going to be a matter of time. There we can see Soul Collector and Transy. They're both in action. Oh, Soul Collector just lost a massive amount of hit points, and he got wiped out. Unfortunately, he took 3 shells from the Char Future 4, I think. And now there's only 2 left on the enemy team. They've still got that 283. In fact, they just lost the 703-2. Transy got him. And now we're looking as the... yep, there he goes. That's the Object 283 seen to by Transy. Or was it? No, it was the Caliban. Here's the end of battle results, and despite getting killed in that one, Oxagon still managed to get an ace tanker game in the SU-14-2. He also got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6 in this one, but no other medals because, of course, he was killed earlier. Yes, just a case of selecting the wrong target, and it turned out that that 283 was the last enemy alive anyway. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in this one either, but the high scorer was, funnily enough, Tramsey. He got 4,499 hit points. He picked up an arsonist fire effect, bruiser, and a top gun, but he didn't get the high caliber, probably because he didn't get 20% of the enemy hit pool. It was a tier 10 game after all. Second highest damage in the game actually went to the Leopard 1 on the enemy team with 3,090 hit points. And the third highest damage in this one went to the Leopard prototype on our team with 3,058 hit points, with Oxagon getting 2,560, which actually put him in 5th place overall, because the Char Future 4 that he actually aimed at right at the end, he got 2,980. So yes, if only he'd gone for the 283 instead of the Char Future 4, I think he might have survived a little while longer. Anyway, when it came to kills, I'm afraid he was way down because he didn't get any kills at all in that game, but that might have actually been helping him towards getting a Confederate. The highest number of kills in the game actually went to Tramsey, who got 6, so he got a top gun. Second highest damage was the Char Future 4 with 4 kills, and 2 kills went to the Object 7032, and everyone else either got 1 kill or nothing. And when it came to base XP, it's Tramsey again. Yes, so he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,503 went to Tramsey, 1,075 went to Soul Collector in his ELC, and the third highest was Oxagon with 1,058. So the entire platoon managed to score over 1,000 base each. So very well played. You can see the quality in that platoon by the very fact that they all outplayed their machine to actually give the team a decent chance of winning the game. Even though they only got 7 kills between them, the fact of the matter is they did do a huge amount of damage, and of course they earned their base XP. Let's have a look at detail. 14 shots fired in this one, so 2 shells left at the end of the game. That shell that he was about to fire, he was loaded, ready to go, but he picked the wrong target, and of course the 283 killed him. 6 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated, but he did get 13 splashes, damage of 2,560 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 5, killed none, so yes, he was just 1 tank away from getting that Confederate. And I can't remember if he actually hit the 283 before. Just have a quick check. No, and isn't that interesting? If he'd actually fired at the 283, if he hadn't killed the 283, he would have picked up a Confederate. If he did kill the 283, he would have stayed alive. So it just goes to show sometimes just because you pick the wrong target, it actually ends up being worse for you overall because you miss out on the medal. He did get some stun assists, though, in that game. Now, he actually ended up with a negative on credits because even though he had a premium account, he did have a resupply on consumables, which was quite expensive. So he ended up with a less or minus 4,870 credits. And he also took away 1,825 XP from that battle because he got the extra bit for playing in a platoon. So 2 very interesting games in the SU-14-2, the school bus. We do have a couple more replays by Oxagon featuring this Arty, and we will do those very shortly. But I thought you'd like to see these 2. So if you did enjoy it, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.